Hey, hey, what you do, girl? Please switch your game. Independent bitches. Might have been way before it's time.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a quick recipe that I made the other night that ended up being so good that I made it twice. So I wanted to go ahead and show it. Let's just go ahead and get right into the ingredients. So you're gonna need whatever kind of pasta that you would like. On top of that, we will need a chicken bouillon cube, an onion, ricotta cheese, chicken, half and half, any kind of milk really, evaporated milk, pesto, cheese, minced garlic, butter, tomato paste, and then of course our seasonings. We're gonna need salt, pepper, oregano, basil, crushed red peppers, ground cumin, and then we need some oil on top of that along with some Parmesan cheese. First thing we need to do is get our water boiling. Of course, add a generous amount of salt. I actually added more salt, so definitely add more salt if you can. Then, of course, we need to go ahead and get our onion and our chicken chopped up. Perfect, that was quick. Then from there, we need to go ahead and get our pot on the stove and get that warmed up with some oil. Now we're gonna go ahead and put it on medium-high heat. So first thing we're gonna do is start sauteing our garlic and our onions. Now, once we're doing this, we're going to also add in our pepper and our salt. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic in now because I don't want my garlic to burn. Then from there, we're just going to go ahead and get that all stirred up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add in some crushed red pepper flakes as well. I like a little heat. Wow, that was a fail. We are going to be putting in 3 cups of pasta into our boiling water, and then 2, and then 3. And you want to go ahead and stir this up. The first dish I made was not made with ziti, so I just know that this type of pasta tends to get really sticky, so it does stick together, so you want to make sure you are stirring throughout the entire process. Now we're going to go ahead and add in our chicken right into our onions and our garlic. Now the chicken that I use has already been marinated in pesto along with salt and pepper. Now even though I've marinated this, I am going to be adding some seasoning. So we just added some ground cumin. Now I'm going to be adding some basil, and some smoked paprika, and then oregano, and then of course some salt and pepper again, okay? And then we're just going to go ahead and get that all mixed together and sauteed in. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get my chicken bouillon cube. Now, I only used about 1/4 of the cube, as you can see here. And that's just because I normally make dishes just for me. Nobody else will be eating that. So if you are looking to double this meal, I would just double the ingredients. Should be pretty fairly easy to do. Now I'm just going to put the chicken onto the side because it still will be cooking. Next, I'm going to drain my pasta. Now I have burned myself making lasagna doing this, so definitely be careful. And we're just going to drain that out and set it right on top of the same pot that it cooked in. Now I'm going to add in my chicken to the pasta, and you want to stir this up as well as you can. I didn't actually do that, but it is a lot easier if you do, so just keep that in mind. Now next we're going to work on our bechamel sauce. So first we want to get a generous amount of butter. So here you can see I'm just adding in more butter. I did use 2 different butters, completely up to you. You do not have to do this. I just chose to. Now as that butter is melting, we are going to add in our flour after the butter has completely melted. So I just added just maybe a tablespoon, nothing too serious. And then the second I add in that flour, I then start whisking. Now, when you are creating this sauce, you do want to make sure you're whisking probably 75% of the time. You want to make sure you're whisking a lot just to make sure that consistency stays correct, because it is a little bit of a process, but this is the foundation of the dish and it just tastes so much better once you put this love into it. Now, as you can see here, I'm adding in evaporated milk along with half and half. Now, you can use any kind of milk that you want. You do not have to use the milk that I used. However, if you would like to, this is what I used. I just chose to use 2 different milks because I normally use the evaporated milk, but I did have half and half, and I know that it does have that cream consistency, so I decided to go ahead and put that in there as well. Now, as you can see, I am just whisking until we get a thicker consistency. While this is happening, I am moving my temperature fairly up and low throughout the process just to make sure I am not burning it. While it's getting semi-thick, I do like to go ahead and preheat my oven just so everything is ready to go once this is done and the consistency has been made. Next, I'm adding in salt and pepper into our sauce. I also wanted to go ahead and add in some oregano. Now you will see why after I am done adding this seasoning in. Now I'm adding in Italian seasoning, again, just to give it a little kick of flavor. Next, I'm going to be adding in our pesto. Now, when you're adding in the pesto, I like to make sure to put the heat on low because this is going to make the sauce a lot thicker. Now, I was almost out of my pesto, so what I like to do is throw in a little bit of milk, shake it up a little bit, and then just add in everything that was shaken up in the jar into the pan. Then from there, you're going to turn up the heat a little bit just because you did just add in fresh milk, so you want to make sure that that consistency stays consistent. Now our sauce is complete. Now we're going to start assembling our casserole. So what you want to put on the bottom first is definitely the sauce. Then from there, I like to add in some Parmesan cheese. Then from Parmesan cheese, I add in my pasta. Then after the pasta, more sauce, then ricotta cheese, and then I just continue the process out. So this is a really fun process, especially if you have kids or anyone who wants to cook with you in the kitchen. it's definitely a fun recipe for those sort of moments. Now I am going ahead and adding some Parmesan cheese as well, along with my ricotta cheese. Now if you can add in some mozzarella, that's even better. With this dish, I didn't add as much cheese due to the fact that I already knew that I was adding in more of the ricotta cheese than I did the last time I made it. And you just continue that process until you get the top. I like the top of my pasta dishes to be a little crunchy, so I do like to add in cheese. I do not like to add sauce on the top. I like to add in some Parmesan cheese along with some breadcrumbs, just so it's crispy when I eat the entire thing and I kind of have a different consistency and texture in my mouth, if that makes sense. Now, if you're somebody who does not like your pasta crunchy at all you would need to do is just add in more sauce on the top instead of the components that I added. Now, before putting this in the oven for about 15 minutes at 375 degrees, I do like to add in chicken broth, just a splash, just to make sure that, it is getting gooey and wet and it's evaporating and really just getting all of that moisture, if that makes sense. You can add in water if you would like, but I like to add in chicken broth. Let me know if you do make this dish. I am in love with this dish. It is probably one of my favorites. I have already made it 3 times this week. So let me know if you guys make it. If you like it, definitely let me know in the comment section below. And if you're new here to my channel, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I will see you in the next video. Thanks guys.